After crossing the Indian Ocean, South Africa provides a safe haven for cruising sailors like us to rest and make repairs ahead of the onward voyage across the South Atlantic to the Caribbean. This is the longest that Florence has not moved in the 6 years that we have been sailing around the world.
In fact, Florence hasn't moved from this very dock in over 3 months, and in this video we'll show you why.
We are Matt and Amy. We left England in 2016 on a mission to sail around the world. Just the two of us on our 37-foot sailboat Florence. 5 years on, we have sailed over 35,000 miles across 3 oceans, exploring new countries and cultures along the way.
This is the Chapmans Peak hike. It's supposed to be the most beautiful hike in the area, and we've got an absolutely perfect day for it, so I can't wait for the view at the top.
This stunning bay where Florence is now moored is surrounded by an impressive natural amphitheatre of mountains. To be able to wake up and look out of the hatch to views of these mountains, or just set out on foot to explore the peaks directly from the boat, is refreshing after so long at sea. In fact, the natural beauty of the area has taken a real hold on us, and it's going to be difficult to leave. The view from here on Chapman's Peak was so good that we actually sat up here soaking it in for over 2 hours.
This is Hout Bay, our new home for at least a month. You can just see Florence in the corner in the marina just down there.
It's awesome scenery round here. This is our new playground for the next month or so. We've got all these peaks to explore. Cape Town is just over the ridge over that way, and it's just amazing to be so close to all these hills and hiking trails. It's going to be an awesome time here.
What an incredible place to spend some time and to get Florence a bit more sorted for the next adventure across the South Atlantic.
Hout Bay is a fishing harbour. The fishing boats here have high, covered-over bows to cope with the fearsome conditions that can be experienced around the Cape of Storms. But the fishermen are not the only residents with an interest in fish. Here in Hout Bay Harbour, we often have to share the docks with one of the Cape's more famous residents, the Cape fur seals. As you'll know if you have followed our voyage around the world, we love being surrounded by nature, and here in Hout Bay that means the seals. They are quite happy to use the marina docks for a little sunbathing and a snooze, even right next to Florence. Thousands of visitors come to the Cape Peninsula every year to see the Cape fur seals. The Hout Bay tour boats pass close to Florence several times a day. We were lucky that Richard, who owns the Calypso, invited us out to see what they were all going to look at. There is a huge seal colony just around the corner at Dukia Island. great seeing all the seals around here, but we've only got to see them on land when they're really, really clumsy and difficult to move around. So we'd really like to see them in their element in the water. But to do that means dressing up like a seal and getting very cold. Oh man, it was cold. Our bodies have gone soft with all the tropical living. Here, the water temperature is just 12 degrees. We started out exploring the kelp forest, looking for crayfish and octopus, before moving on to the seals. But it turned out that the seals were not the main attraction. Instead, the main attraction was us. The seals were the ones doing the looking. At first they came and looked at us from a distance, hanging upside down in the water, peering intently at these strange neoprene-clad animals, blowing bubbles below them. Then, as they became more and more confident, they came closer and closer, occasionally bumping us as they sped past. They're amazingly graceful and fast, a huge contrast to how we see them out of the water. They are also incredibly playful, but after a while they became a bit too playful and confident. This was definitely time to get out of the water. Amy wanted to come and tell you this, but unfortunately she's completely lost her voice at the moment, so you're stuck with me instead. People often ask us, what do we miss when we're sailing around the world? And that's a difficult thing to answer because it's not really anything physical, it's more of a feeling. And here in Hout Bay, we've found that feeling that we've been missing. We're not stuck here for any negative reason, but more because we like it so much that it's going to be really hard to move on. For the first time, we feel like we've lost the itch to carry on moving on and see what's around the next corner. We love being immersed in nature. We love the ability to walk off the boat and go for a fantastic hike or just a short walk along the beach. But more than that, we found stability, a regular routine and a real sense of community here in Hout Bay. We originally only planned to stay here for 1 month before we would move the boat round to central Cape Town to prepare her for crossing the South Atlantic. But we actually love it so much here that we've extended our visas and we've now been here in Hout Bay for 3 months. And out of all of the places that we've visited around the world in the last 6 years, this would be the #1 place to choose for us to come back and live. It's going to be a real wrench to leave here. Living has not been this easy for us for a very long time. Normally we wouldn't stay in a marina because of the cost, but here in South Africa there's not really anywhere to safely anchor out, so you have to stay in marinas. And that's one reason, it's another reason we've been here in Hout Bay rather than in central Cape Town, because the cost of the berth here in Hout Bay is actually 1/5 of the cost of keeping Florence in the central V&A marina in Cape Town. So we can relax and just enjoy the luxury of stepping off of the boat and going into the club for a hot freshwater shower whenever we want to, going for a short walk along the beach to reasonably priced supermarkets that have a fantastic range of food, This is the closest we have come to living a normal life since we left England 6 years ago. Just having an address so we can have things delivered, we can easily order parts online and have them delivered. These are all small things, but for us, after living in such remote locations, these all have a massive impact on our quality of life. If you're cruising along this coast, don't miss Hout Bay. We've been warmly welcomed into the yacht club here in Hout Bay, and as we were walking down the docks, we've seen all these little 19-foot Hunter keelboats. And they've actually got 30 of them here, and they race them 3 times a week. And we've been really lucky that Dave and Jamie have actually lent us this one, Highland Storm, for the time that we're here. So we've actually been able to race this boat 3 times a week in the time that we've been here. They're pretty tippy. They're just like a big dinghy really, which is what we used to with dinghy sailors from back home. But we absolutely love racing, and the racing here has been fierce. If you want to get into sailing, you don't need a big boat like Florence. Something like this is absolutely perfect. It's got a mainsail, a jib and a symmetrical spinnaker, which is everything you need to learn. And because it's small and manoeuvrable, it makes learning so much easier because you get feedback on everything you do much quicker than you do with a big boat. So these are great little boats for learning to sail. These are also great boats for racing because they're all the same. They all go pretty much the same speed, so it's all about the person sailing them that makes the difference. And there is a great little racing fleet here in Hout Bay. They're going to fish on the rocks. There's not much space inside these. Mainly just a space to store sails, although people did used to cruise them originally. The boat's actually based on a UK design called a squib. Having access to sail this Hunter here in Hout Bay is one of the things that's made us feel so at home here. Before we left, Amy and I used to race dinghies multiple times a week, pretty much all year round, and to come here and be able to have a boat that is ours to race, that we can go out multiple times a week on racing together, has really just made us feel so at home. It's something we've missed over our time sailing around the world. We want to say a huge thank you to Dave and Jamie for lending us their pride and joy so that we can go racing, but also to everybody in the Hout Bay Yacht Club for just making us feel so welcome and so at home here.
On the other side of the Cape Peninsula, just a 30-minute drive away, is Hout Bay and Simonstown. We have come here to see a colony of Amy's favourite birds.
One of the things that is famous to come and see as a tourist attraction here in Cape Town is the penguins. And ever since we started going out, like nearly 15 years ago, Amy has been endlessly entertained by penguins. If ever she's sad, I just have to show her a picture of penguins or a YouTube clip of penguins waddling, and it sorts her out. She's cheered up immediately. So coming here to see the penguins is an awesome opportunity we cannot miss.
So they're birds, but they're really pathetic birds. But they're awesome, awesome in the sea.
How is the real penguin experience?
You can't smell them on YouTube. They're a lot more smelly in real life, but they are just gorgeous. I don't know what it is about them. They're just so cute. I love them. I love the way they move. It's hard to get a steady shot because I keep giggling at them. They're so funny, especially coming out of the water. They're all getting out of the water. Oh my word.
These are African penguins, and they are only found in South Africa and Namibia. They live in colonies ashore, and this is the start of the nesting season whilst we are here. Some penguins are excavating burrows to use as nests, and some are using the bushes to keep their eggs shaded from the fierce African sun.
I'll have that nesting material for my nest, thank you very much. I'll just move it over here.
You little thief.
No one will notice.
This cheeky penguin was stealing nesting material from an unguarded nest next door. The African penguins are unfortunately declining in numbers and on the endangered list, mainly because of overfishing by humans of their main prey, anchovies and sardines.
We thoroughly recommend a stop in this beautiful bay. But if you do come here, be careful. It might take a hold on you too. And you might get stuck here for longer than planned. You watching for the green flash? Next time, we explore a little further afield and take a trip to the southernmost point of Africa. Don't forget to subscribe to catch the next episode. We release a video every 2 weeks.
If you'd like to find out more about behind the scenes on Florence, track our progress across the oceans in real time, find out where we are right now, or ask us pretty much anything, then please head over to our Patreon site and join the crew.
We'd like to thank everyone who supports us to make these videos possible, and a special thank you to our star patrons.